My name is Leo Connors, and welcome to The Ring and All Other Sports. Tonight, my special guest is professional wrestler, the masshole, Mike McCarthy.
Leo, thanks. Good to see you.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I was surprised because I don't hit everybody up, and, I really was surprised. I was very excited. Trust me, man.
Well, trust
me.
It's like I see all my friends come on here, and it's like, it's awesome to see him and stuff. And I realize like we've known each other for 20 years.
Yeah.
So why not come up and just have a good time,
Yeah. Thank you very much for coming on. But the big question, at least to me, is: was it wrestling before music, even, or was music before wrestling?
Yeah. Well, I mean, wrestling was. I started watching early '80s with my grandmother.
Okay.
Sitting around Saturday mornings. She was she liked the AWA over the WWF at the time, but we watched both. She just had disdain for Ric Flair. It was awesome. I can remember it like it was yesterday, And then, so it was all pro wrestling until I found punk rock, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't cool to be a wrestling fan. It was awkward and weird. And, I found punk rock, and then that was it. Then it was wrestling kind of I loved it, but it was just over here kind of, you know what I mean? And then it was just, that was it. And then, I'm the perfect age to be a wrestling fan. I grew up on Hulkamania.
Yep.
Right. And then, I got a little older and I got a little cartoony. I still liked it. You know what it was that pulled me right back was ECW.
Yeah.
Because that was punk rock. I did tape tradings with all my friends on punk rock stuff, little videos of their local bands, that stuff. And I ended up coming across a ECW tape, and that was it. That was it. It changed.
Wow.
Right? Brought me right back in. And then it was then you had the Attitude Era, which I was a 19, 20-year-old kid when that started,
Right.
So it was perfect for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's wild. I mean, the Hogan era obviously is the biggest era of all time. You know what I mean? To spend it watching with your grandmother. I never got the chance.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, it was cool,
so
yeah.
that's a great moment.
Yeah, I remember the Garden seeing Andre, all my earliest memories are just sitting around watching professional wrestling.
Right.
And they're all good memories,
Right.
Yeah. She's 93 this year. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, we got a lot of fan questions. I figure we could bang some out, see how things go.
Let's just jump into it. Yeah.
Vin Ratty?
Yep.
All right, Vin Ratty says, get details about the secret mission to Tibet.
Yeah, so it was my first, I was in for about, I would say 3 years or so, maybe a little more, 4 years. And I ended up getting knee surgery, so I was out for a while. And so they did it was like a PWF angle. They did this thing where all of a sudden I was back. They never explained where I was or anything. And just in a live promo, just us talking, and they're like, "Where have you been?" And I literally just said, "Secret mission in Tibet," and everybody lost it, trying to hold it together.
Right.
And that was it. It was just one little line that 20 years later we still laugh about.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, that was a great group of guys too. I mean, in the PWF, was that the Storm?
Yeah, well, I mean, Kyle
and Matt, right?
Yeah, Kyle's one of my trainers.
Right.
I was 23, so I'm 46 now, so that's half my life ago, right? I met Kyle through a friend of my dad's. It was really, really weird, and it was this guy was I don't even know who he was. He was a indie ref. He said, "Oh, I know of a school in Providence," and it was Squared Circle Academy. I met Kyle. I went down there, met him and Anthony. Ali Muhammad. And a week later, I moved to Providence. I moved upstairs from Kyle, and that was it. It was just wrestling. It was okay. This is it. Professional wrestling.
Right.
So it was it was Kyle and Anthony. But I'd be I'd be upset with myself after if I didn't mention T.J. Richter and Gino Martino.
Right.
Those guys were instrumental in developing me in because, when you're a little punk rock kid, you think you know everything. You know what I mean? Right. And it was I didn't know I almost did it.
Yeah,
I
it's all right. It happens.
I didn't know anything
It's all
about.
right.
I knew nothing about nothing.
Yeah.
So it was. I'll be forever in debt to those 4 guys.
Right.
Yeah.
No doubt. Good men right there.
Yep.
Mikey Frotton.
Okay.
You know Mikey?
I do. Yeah.
Ask him what makes him a masshole.
I don't see. Here's the thing, right? It
Yeah.
was like I'll put it right back to. I was born in Massachusetts. I've been here, most of my life.
Yeah.
I was doing. I had done the Jackass gimmick, right? The Tommy Knoxville gimmick,
Right.
and here's the thing. Kyle gave that to me. He could have put me in a chicken suit and called me Susan. I don't care. I wanted to be. I wanted to be there. So yeah, cool. I'll jump right in on it.
Right.
And then I left, and when I came back, I was like, I don't. It's weird. Like I'm on social media as Mike, but here I am playing this this weird character. So I was like, I'm just gonna go with that. And I was at a show, and Haggis said to me, "You're never gonna sell one T-shirt with the name Mike McCarthy." That was it. And
Wow.
so I had to find a moniker, and it was I was like in between bands, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna start a band called Mike and the Massholes, and I was like, oh my god, how do I not do this? I'll sell 1 million T-shirts.
Right.
I'll sell 1 million. I'll rip off the Bruins, and I'll sell 1
Yep.
million T-shirts.
Yep.
You know.
Why not?
And it was maybe not 1 million, but
But you
I
did
see
all right.
I see a couple out there, right? It's funny. And a couple of years later, he was like, oh, I guess I was wrong. So shout out to Haggis, right?
Yeah. He's a Florida-based wrestler.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Does a lot of work in New England.
He does, yeah. He was
a lot.
I wrestled in my first, probably within my first dozen matches was
Really?
with him, yeah.
No kidding.
Yeah, him and TNT Kenny G, who was his manager at the time, who's passed, but yeah, they beat me up with a kendo stick and humbled me real quick. Yeah, that's what he does.
It happens.
Yeah.
Sheldon Goldberg.
All right.
His thoughts on New England Championship Wrestling run.
That was the most fun I've ever had. Right. There's been a couple segments that have been of time that have really stood out to me, and I'll forever be grateful for that time. I got to develop as who am I, right? What do I want to do? I got to work with a lot of different people. I had a blast, and it wasn't here's the thing. It was Sheldon at the helm of that, right? And I understand why people don't like him. People talk crap about him all the time. I try to defend him because he was always good to me.
Right.
Right. He never lied to me that I know
like
of.
Sheldon Goldberg myself.
I saw him the other day. It was great to hug him. We have a great relationship.
That's awesome.
But it was Sheldon. It was the people that Sheldon had me work with. Right. It was really, really fun. Toto Loco. He was. I would wrestle him every night of the week.
Right.
Right. It was always fun. And then Kevin Castro.
Yeah.
Kevin Castro brought more out of me than any wrestler ever did.
Right.
Just sitting here doing talking, doing interviews, having fun,
Right.
That's my favorite thing I ever did was just sitting behind a camera with him, I think.
Right.
Which is just for me, personally, you know what I mean?
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that was my funnest, and then I'm just gonna go on a tangent about times that I really enjoyed. That block was really, really good, and then I took some time off. I moved out to Portland, Oregon for a couple of years, and I didn't wrestle out there. And when I came back, it was Let's Wrestle up in Maine.
Yeah,
man, that's my home up there for that company, and it's right up there. It's the time that I worked with Sheldon up there in Maine. And currently this one right here that I'm doing right now has been the most fun I've ever had, because now I have nothing left to prove to anybody, and I have nothing to lose at this point. You know what I mean? I know I'm not going anywhere. I know that I don't like these grandiose things. It's how can, in the moment, right? In the moment, wherever I'm at, how can I have the most fun and make this better than when I walked in?
Right.
Right? How can I make somebody else love pro wrestling? And if I can do that, then I'll do that as long as I can, right?
Right. Yeah.
I don't know.
Why not?
Yeah.
That's a good way to look at it, a good way to be.
I'd see.
Wrestling fan Jerry Lane. You know Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
How did you come up with the name Tommy Knoxville when you started out? You kind of glanced over it, but
Yeah, it was just like,
it's Jerry. That's why I asked.
Of course, yeah. We were, we were in the squared circle where I trained in Providence, right? It was in Pawtucket, but Providence, and it's like a warehouse, like, bay door warehouse style, like every little training facility everywhere, right? And they had like a shopping cart in there, and so I got in and someone pushed me and I landed, jumped over from the cart into the ring, and that was it. That was it. Jackass was huge at the time. You got to think this is like 2000, 2001.
Right.
Wow. It was huge at the time. And Kyle was like, that's it. This is what you're doing,
Right.
Like, you're going to be Tommy Knoxville. And it was cool. So I came out to like the Jackass theme and had two of my buddies, one would like push me in a carriage. I'd hop in. The other one sit with a video camera. And it was like super fun.
Yeah.
It was super fun.
You killed it.
Yeah. But then it was also like, I was too cool for school. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to do this MTV gimmick thing. It's I want to be me. You know what I mean? And like, now I would like, I would sell out in a second for anything.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
Well, Jerry had a follow-up.
Yeah.
What led to the change to the mass hall?
Well, when I already, 100% went over that with, it was social media.
Right.
That was 100%. Like, it's social media. Yep. Here I am as like Mike McCarthy over here talking about this cat. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I don't know. It just was like, it was too weird. I guess like if I did like, something so outlandish, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I was dressed in face paint or had like a full body costume where you couldn't know it was me, but it was like kind of just like the curtains pulled back. Just do this,
Right. All right, on JP Griffin. Mm-hmm. How did being in the punk scene prepare you to be a pro wrestler? As a follow-up too.
All right,
but what are the main similarities and differences between the two scenes?
Well, that one is like is super easy.
Okay.
There's I love this is us versus them, and not necessarily. I don't mean like companies versus each other. I mean like we're doing this. This is ours. We created this.
Yeah.
Super artistic, right? Like, we don't have like big sponsors. We don't have like all these money people telling us how we have to do things, right? It was like just, real carnival, grassroots, and I love that aspect of it. But on the same side, shady promoters, people not showing up, venues cancel, all this. It's the same exact thing, So like in that aspect, I was like ready for it, I'm ready to not make money. I'm ready to like be abused and lied to, But with all that ugliness, there's so many the beautiful things that have happened in both punk rock and pro wrestling. Heavily outweigh those like few ugly circumstances that people just want to go to and talk about. You know what I mean?
No. That's great. Can you tell us a story about the Ratskeller?
Yeah. I don't know. Statute of limitations, I don't know. No, I was way too young to be drinking at the Rat and seeing the things that I had seen at the Rat. That's, you know what I mean? It was fantastic. It was, I don't know if like punk rock saved my life or ruined my life. You know what I mean? But I think it was like maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But as a disenfranchised youth, there was nothing better than like, seeing like a couple hundred kids who like felt exactly the same way you did, you know what I mean? Who didn't come from like love or like, the picture perfect, like Leave It to Beaver, you know what I mean? And like just coming together with that and like, this is ours. Like we made this.
Yep.
So like that's what the Rat was for me, but it was like just coupled with like 90s violence.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In the 90s, like the hardcore scene was violent,
Yeah.
But
it's too bad. Andy Miller wants to know, who are your favorite wrestlers, past and present?
Like as a fan or as a worker, as a wrestler?
No, who are your favorite
Who are my favorites?
Yeah, your favorites.
See, that's the thing. It's like saying, who's your favorite band? What's your favorite song? It changes constantly.
Of course,
right?
I get it. I get it.
It's if things are going well and I'm happy, maybe I like this guy. If I'm in a bad mood, maybe it's want to watch this, or you know what I mean. It constantly ebbs and flows.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's people are like, oh, the Mount Rushmore.
Now I hear you.
Who knows? You know what I mean? There's like time periods and
Yeah,
you could fill in the blank.
Right.
You know.
All right. Johnny Idol. This is all in the same kind of category. Johnny Idol, do you find some similarities between the wrestling business and the live music?
Well, yeah, I mean, it was
And Adam Luce also.
yeah, I mean, it's all this. I appreciate those. It's the same. A lot of it's the same with like I said, like this is us. We did this. We can be creative in this way or that way. And like just commanding a crowd. There's not a lot of things I've been really, really good at in my life. You know what I mean? But like fronting a hardcore punk rock band and being able to like, just like, I don't know, attract that crowd, have people's attention. Like I was really, really good at that.
Right.
And I think I'm a halfway decent professional wrestler. Right. You know what I mean? I think I can tell a good story. But like that's the thing about wrestling. It's like flavors of ice cream.
Right.
Not everybody's gonna like what I do. I'm not, I don't always like what I do. Right. I mean, come on. I'm always changing, looking at things, being like, cringy,
No, you're building a brand though and a consent. I mean, like nowadays at your age, I would think, right? I'm just
Of
you would
course.
want to like
Of course.
so that's awesome.
That's the thing that's weird, and I think it's just because I'm like a man of a certain age, right? It's like and it goes to show like the respect that's in like the locker rooms today. People are super, super respectful. Someone called me sir the other day. I was like, that's weird.
Right.
Because I've never done anything outside of just have a really good time at professional wrestling.
Right.
Right. I've never done anything that's worth to come in to have any kind of ego. Right. But if we're on the same show, then nobody there should have any kind of ego. We're on the same show, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean? So like, I don't care where you've been and what you've done. I respect that. But what are we doing right now in this moment?
Yep.
Right. We could talk hours about like everything that everybody's done and all this stuff. What are they doing today to make wrestling better?
Right.
That's it.
Nice. All right. Now, Mike Zamzow. How did you get started in wrestling, and who was your inspiration to do so? I know what, like,
that was it. It was like once I had, as a punk kid, I had like gone to a couple different schools, looked them out, and I was just like not ready, right? I thought, oh, this place sucks. That's this person. I don't like their attitude. And I didn't like anything, right? It was just the world was, right?
Yep.
And when I met Kyle, it was like the first like person who was like, yes, come here, you belong here, like let's do this.
Nice.
And I just felt comfortable with him, And like I said, like Kyle, Anthony, TJ, and Gino, those guys molded me. They didn't take liberties with me, but they didn't like sugarcoat anything.
Right.
And you got to think in like 2000, 2001, there was still a lot of like. There wasn't a lot of guys that were my size then. And I was like 140 pounds, 150 pounds then at the most, You had guys like Rick Fuller, you had like, that time was so.
No, Gino was considered a very big guy. And Ali Muhammad at one point was a big guy.
Very
then
big
he
guy,
got small, but he still had that in him, man.
He had like, it's like all those, the one night stands, like Ronnie D and Edward G, like those guys, like that was, there were some big dudes then,
Right.
It's just it's all good times though. I mean,
all right. Felicia Ellison, how long you been a wrestler?
I started training in 2000.
Yep.
I had my first match in the summer of 2001 against TJ Richter in Clinton, Mass.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
St. John's Gym.
I've already asked TJ to come on. He said he's not ready, but when he is, he said he'd change his mind. He'd let me know.
Yeah,
so I'm looking forward to that, hopefully someday.
I'm sure he'd have some good stories to tell.
Oh, definitely. John Dyson wants to know, what's your favorite tattoo and why? Do you have one? No?
It's like I don't know. If I could go back in time, I probably never would have done like below my wrist or above my collarbone, but who knew? You know what I mean? I was like a 17-year-old, 18-year-old punk rock kid.
Yeah.
And it meant like, don't talk to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? And now it's like they're conversation pieces. And like, I'm just like, I wish I had none at this point.
Yeah.
But I don't know, probably like I got a portrait of my dad on my leg that, most of them don't mean anything. You know what I mean?
Right,
it's just like, I thought it was cool in the moment.
Yeah.
So like, I don't really want to talk, but like, the portrait of my dad on my leg probably means the most.
Nice. All right. Anthony Miller says, how many fan signs have you ripped up in the past? Good question, Anthony.
I haven't done that in a long time, but that was always, and it's always the best when you like, when you would like rip it up and then give it back to them.
Yeah.
Like, here you go, you can take this. But I haven't done it in a long time, and I don't think I would do it to some like. If you just have like a piece of like cardboard with like you suck written on it, yes, fine. Yeah. But there's like those like South Coast sign guys. Like I would never rip something that they did. That's time and energy, man, and it's art. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
But some things I did a couple of years ago, I'm not the same guy sitting here. You know what I mean? Like, I'd rather I don't know.
I'm just hoping you ripped up Anthony's side.
Probably, right?
Squeaks. All right, he says his first experience watching you, you tore mine to pieces and gave a piece back to me.
Oh, there you go, right?
At an APW event in Haverhill over a decade ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and he still goes to all indie shows like crazy.
It's awesome.
Yeah, he is. He's a great fan, man. He's a great fan of professional wrestling, man.
I love.
He really is.
I love being able to develop. I wrestled for Proving Ground Saturday in Beverly, and I hadn't been in Beverly in a while. And it was like I saw some faces out there that I hadn't seen 6, 7, 8 years. That used to come to Sheldon's shows at the Cove Community Center there. Seeing him out there, it was like, wow, seeing people like just a little older, and you're like, wait, I recognize that face. That's a beautiful thing about wrestling. Like people who can, you stick around long enough, you're going to make, it's going to be like impossible not to make some sort of even peripheral relationships with people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, I'm just a fan, and that's how I got into liking the wrestling business is through people that I could talk to, not like from TV, you know what I mean?
And that's
it evolved my love into this because I just walked into a room and they said you could have a show, and here I swear to God.
And that's the thing about like that was that punk rock, like hardcore punk rock and like independent pro wrestling. It's tangible. It's right there.
Right.
Like I almost feel like if I paid my money, I can almost be part of this.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that's what ECW was. It was like I'm part of this. You know what I mean? And like that's why it's put me right back into wrestling.
All right. Nice. Jason Pena. When given the boot, when given the boot to his opponent's face, is it a force that gets them off, or the smell of his dirty old boots? All right. Sorry, Jason.
My boots are pretty clean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah. All right. Robert DeMore, Bobby D. When was his first match? What town and who did you wrestle?
Again, it was 2001. It was, I think, June. Yeah, June 2001 against TJ Richter, Clinton, Mass, St. John's Gym.
Yeah.
We headlined that show. It was the weirdest thing.
Nice.
But it was like a guy that trained me. You know what I mean? So it was like we knew each other. My second match was not as like, I wasn't as happy about that one. It was like, here's this guy who you just met. Let's see. And you're like,
Yeah. So your first two matches were against guys that you didn't like. It was one guy and then another guy.
Yeah, it was like my first one was with TJ, and we knew each other very, very well.
Right.
Like I said, I moved to Providence. I moved right upstairs from Kyle. I was in the gym 3-4 days a week.
Right.
TJ was there all the time. We knew each other,
Right. Absolutely.
And it was painstaking because there was kids who came in who just like got it quicker than I did, and like, hey, they haven't been trained as long as I have. How come they're having matches? You know what I mean? And it was like, I don't know if Kyle was like trying to drill it into me, like maybe I wasn't as good. I don't know, right? Or like was like protecting me and cared about me. Still to this day, Kyle and I have a great relationship.
Right. I think Kyle's a great guy. Been on the show twice. He should come. I would love to have him come in. Please.
Yeah. Here's, and I'm gonna.
I can't stand the Skype. I swear to God, I can't stand them. I really can't.
It's I'm gonna go off on a tangent about like he's another guy. I know why people don't like him. Like people all the time. I get it. I would not be sitting here across from you if someone didn't nurture me, right? If it was that like, I see it happen all the time. People not liberties, but just taking someo's money just to like put them through and here you go. And he didn't do that.
Right.
You know what I mean? He didn't do that. He took time and effort out of his life, right? To like me and a couple other guys.
Yeah. Well, you made a conconnection.
That was it.
There's no doubt.
Evan Six was like in the class right after me.
Yeah. Oh.
So he was only 6 months, a year behind us, and like that was it. He was at the house all the time. That was it. Like, and it was so Kyle trained him as well.
he was on very early on the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was right here in this studio.
I haven't
man.
seen him in person in a long time,
yeah.
but he's another
That's
guy.
crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, let's see, Bare Knuckle Burley. He's not really, no question. I just want to express all the love, man, from myself, Bugsy, and Woody. We all love being on the same card as you. All the best and all the love by Bare Knuckle Burley.
Oh, thanks, Pearly.
You know, love Big Woody, man.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yep.
All right, Adam Baba. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. How did the booger spot come about?
Well, first of all, Adam, I have known longer than I've known anybody else in wrestling.
Seriously.
Yeah.
I think you told me that before when
I've
I saw you the last time.
Yeah. I've known him, it's got to be like 30 something years, you know,
Right.
32, 33 years I've known that guy, you
Right.
know. Yeah, so this is how it came about. I was working at a show in Florida and was just taking photographs, you know,
Yeah.
just like screen behind me, just standing there taking the, you know, wrestling guy photos.
That's cool. Yeah.
And the guy said something like, "Hey, do something who tells me who you are." And I literally just looked right in his camera and picked my nose, finger all the way up, and like, Ugh. And when I got that picture, it just was like, "Oh, dude, this is so easy.
Right.
This is so easy, right?" It's like, it gets a laugh. It's gross, you know, but you know. What else are you gonna do? It's like I punch, kick, booger. That's it, you know.
He had a follow up.
Yeah.
Who was the first person you fed it to? Do you remember that?
Jeez, no. I don't. I haven't. That's a good question. Off the top of my head, I'm sure I could research it, but off the top of my head, I cannot think of who it was.
Do you have a funny story from anybody like that you made the spot with that just was like, just, you know?
I think my favorite is always referees.
Yeah.
It's always Gina. That was one of my favorite ones ever. Yeah. She was willing, but it was just like kind of gross, you know.
Yeah.
You know. And here's the thing, like if you it's gonna happen, right? It's gonna happen one way or the other.
Yeah.
Let's just have some fun with it.
Right.
It's, you know,
Yeah.
and it's not for everybody. I get it.
Right.
I get it. And it's also like, does the match call for it? Is it fun? Are we having a good time? Right? Is it, or is this like a serious event? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah. All right, now we got one quick question from Mav. Why does he drop kick the old man on the head?
this was many, many years ago.
Yeah.
I'm older. I was saying this earlier to him. I'm older now than he was then, and I always thought he was like so much older then, you know?
Right.
Because I guess like the life cycle in like wrestling, local wrestling, it's not really that long.
Yep.
You know, so like there's names that you hear and you're like, oh, who's that? You know, but Mav's one of those names that was like when I came in had already been doing it for a very long time, you know, and like he's a guy like I don't know him on a very personal level, but I respect the hell out of him.
Right.
You know, he's always this is how it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Todd Graham, not really a question. Just wanted to say you killed it with Jason Devine at the Proving Ground last night. Hope to have you back soon. And Todd is a very good friend of the show. Been on the show so many times, man. Love Todd.
I believe in him.
Yep.
I believe in him and
good.
what he does.
Good.
That's it. That's all I can say about that. I don't really travel a ton.
Right.
You know, I stay fairly local.
Yep.
There's only so many places to work. You know what I mean? I'm not booking 4 or 5 shows a week anymore. My body, you know what I mean? It's like I'll book where I want to be and where I want to have the most fun and where I can give the most back. And I think that's one of the places that I'm going to try to hit a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because I believe in what he does.
Right.
I believe in what
I believe in it too. I do.
And you know, the crowd was hot. It was, you know, and it's always good when like, here's what I want at the end. This is what I want. Figure out how to get there and be creative and have some fun. And when someone can tell you to do that and like you're with some people who are capable of that, it's like, yeah, I want to be there.
Right.
You know?
Dope. Awesome. Joey Kilmartin. Right?
Yeah.
One of the most solid guys in and out of the ring, man. Ask him at the end if you should consider your... should I wait? Or,
I will wait, yeah.
yeah, we'll wait. All right. Ryan Brown, Mike has always been a great guy to my friend Andrew and I was wondering if Mike remembers the show for New England All-Stars at Randolph, where my friend Andrew stood up from his wheelchair and you looked like you saw a ghost. Mike, thank you for being so cool to both my friend and I remember one show where you called us your boys.
Yeah.
Ryan's a good dude.
Yep,
Good friend of the show.
I specifically remember that. I leaned over the barricade and I said, "You stand up when I come out." And the dude stood up out of his wheelchair, and it was fantastic. Popped me, man. What do you do at that point? Like,
Right,
okay,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
That's awesome.
and always awesome sports about it. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like, hey, man, you support what we do. It's not lost on me that like you could have stayed home tonight.
Right.
Right, you could have stayed home tonight.
Yeah.
But you decided to not only just you decided to come to see where I'm at.
Right.
Like that's cool, and you're paying attention.
Right.
And you want to be part of. Shame on me if I don't involve people like
Right.
that. You know.
Absolutely. Thanks, Ryan. Greg Jones Isaac, his son with all the years of incredible promo work, are there any ribs or roasts you're personally fond of?
Oh, jeez. I think it was like the first one where I decided. Here's the thing, in the promos that I try to do, like I don't try to rip people's wrestling apart,
Right.
or like that they're not tough, because like there's plenty of people out there who can wipe the floor with me, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna find other ways, right? Like things that aren't really. And it started with Hunter Ward,
Yeah.
right? And I just like ripped him apart in this promo about like. Imagine him with a little hands eating a sandwich. It was like ridiculous, but that one, because that was like, okay, now I know how to cut. Now I know how to cut a promo on that. You know what I mean? And it was different, you know, than what I had been doing like in NECW. You know what I mean? Which was like I watch those now and I'm like, oh man, I was messed up.
Hunter, man, a former guest from a long time ago, man. I think he was just under 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 80s or something
What
like that.
is it now?
What's that?
What is it at now?
Oh, God, this is 316, I think. 15 or 16.
316, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm
there you
shooting
go.
for 500.
There you go. Yeah, there
I'll
you
be
go.
honest with you, man. I tell the guys and stuff that every other week, man, I'm like, then I get up and do it. Because I have nothing else to do.
What else?
I have absolutely nothing else.
And then 6 weeks goes by and you're going to be sitting at home regretting why am I not doing something, right?
Yep, exactly.
Something.
Exactly. So I said, I'm going to shoot for 500 and we'll go from there.
There you go.
You know? And John Casey,
Okay.
NCW John.
Yeah.
How is the screenplay for Kepler's coming along? Loosely based on the hit motion picture Gremlins.
So I'm trying to say this in a way that's like as polite and as PC as I can. I hate that puppet. So do you know what I'm talking about? He has this puppet named Kepler, and I hate it. And then one day we're talking about doing a Gremlins movie with this puppet, and it's ridiculous. And I can't believe I'm wasting air talking about that. So that's about it.
All right, Brandon Langley.
Yeah.
What color was the cat in Maine? He told me, begged me, because I had said no more questions. And he hit me up.
I love him.
Yeah, me too.
I love him.
Yep.
I've spent many hours in a car with him, cultivating way more of a relationship than just as pro wrestlers. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or a guy sitting in a car. You know, my daughter was was a baby, and you know he held her.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I love that man. You know, and it's a shame to see him suffer. It sucks.
Yes,
It
it really does suck. But
so I'm just gonna say that there was a wedding and there was a card on a table for a Paul Kills Cats, and I'll leave it just at that.
All right.
And we don't have to talk about that anymore.
All right. And who made you break character in a match, he said.
Oh, I don't know. It's probably happened. It happens all the time.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what is character? Yeah,
Well,
I mean, like,
yeah,
you know what I
like
mean? Like,
maybe-
I'll acknowledge things that happen, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. He's probably think of a specific time that I just don't remember.
Right. All right. And what happened at the Belltime Club Christmas party with the worker Chunky?
I have no idea.
All right. Trust me, he said, please trust me on these.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Here's the thing.
I love Brandon, too.
I love him to death.
No doubt.
But there's also like between, well, I can't say between you and I because here we go, right?
Right.
There's like a large chunk of time where I don't remember a lot of things.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
This is as personal I'll get about it. Like drugs and alcohol made it so I don't remember a large chunk of my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I mean, it's not like that today. So that,
Yep.
that's where I'm at. But, I remember matches, I remember those things, but it's like afterwards. You know what I
Right.
mean? There was like a lot of times where like, people will bring up stories and I'm like, yeah.
Right.
But
So do you have a favorite moment though, like in the punk rock scene? Like at a show? Like what was the craziest show you ever went to?
I don't know if crazy, but it's like that's subjective,
Yeah.
right? Does it mean like what do you think crazy is? Like is it the
No.
best band? Is it the craziest crowd?
Right.
Is it
Yeah.
like,
No, I hear
is
it.
the
So
time
best
is
concert.
the time someone got
Yeah,
stabbed.
no,
you know what
I
I mean?
hear you. Best concert. You're right.
Well, I mean, I try to stay as current as possible, right?
Yeah.
So like the last like awesome thing I went to was like the Trouble reunion almost a year ago.
Yeah.
There haven't been anything that's topped that in a while. But and I hate to sound like one of those old dudes, but like, the late 90s, early 2000s for like the mid 90s to the mid 2000s, that decade, but it was also only because I was of that age.
Right. No, I hear you.
Do you know what I mean? Every generation has that stuff. My dad did, this
Right.
kid's music today. It's not like it was when I was growing up. Well, good. I'm glad things have changed. It would be
Exactly.
boring and stagnant.
Yeah.
And that's all aspects of art.
Oh,
You know
absolutely.
what I mean? Music, pro wrestling,
Yep.
physical art, whatever it is. Things evolve, things change,
Right.
right? And like, I don't have to like it, but like, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So
Big time. And I mean, I'm a music guy too.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? So that's why like those questions obviously would be like that to me. Like, what do you mean? What, but like,
Yeah.
what did I just love that I went to see?
yeah, I mean, there's memories that I have, like
Right.
going up to the Elvis room in Portsmouth, New Hampshire, and seeing the Bruisers and Blood for Blood play in a place that held like 100 and something people.
Wow.
Like that was like you're like right there. It's
Yeah.
tangible. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like all those early unseen shows were like super super important to me. Like shows at the Rat. Or just like getting in a van with like 4 of your best friends and being like, let's try to make it to the next town. Like those
Right.
moments, like
Yeah.
to somebody looking from the outside would be like, why was that an important moment? You know what I mean? But like when you're in that, right?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. It's like you're watching that movie Stand By Me, you know what I mean? Like it's like there's these guys like, oh man, they're gonna be together forever and this is always gonna happen and it's gonna be, and it's life's not like that. But those moments will
Right.
always stand out.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely. All right. So there's like 20 minutes left. Let's play the name game. I looked at your,
This is my
your
favorite.
wrestling database and pulled up some names that I know you worked.
Good. I'm gonna tell you, watching,
Yeah.
this is always my favorite part.
All right, great. Chris Venom.
He should not have been wearing spandex
Yeah.
so much. I don't know how to do this in an appropriate manner, but you could always play the game of guess what side it's on.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
Great
All right.
guy. I don't get to see him very often, but I always had fun working with him.
Right.
Always.
Great
He's like a
Great work.
And now he's like a strength coach helping all these dudes out.
Yeah.
It's awesome to see.
Yeah,
It's awesome
it
to
is.
see.
And I've talked with him too, dude. So hopefully I'll have, I'll have him come on.
yeah. Be great.
It'll be awesome. All right, you've been working a little APW, right?
Yeah,
Michael Morse.
I'm having so much fun there right now.
That's awesome.
That's a company that I've worked off and on for them for over a decade, over a decade. I loved Woody. I loved those times there, and I continue to love those times there. Right, and right now I'm having a blast there.
Yeah.
Right. He's giving me like good opponents. Giving me time to tell stories. Making me be involved.
Yep.
It's like if you're gonna give me all these dates, give me something to do. Right.
Exactly.
Like let me be part of. Let me be a part of. Right. And he's making me feel a part of professional wrestling.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's all I ever wanted.
Now, were you part of New England Championship Wrestling when Kyle and Matt was in there too?
No, I came in right after they left, which is the weirdest thing.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So
That's
it was
awesome.
not. No, because I was there with them with PWF. And then I had taken a little bit, I've taken a few times some breaks for mental and physical health.
Right.
Super important.
Yeah.
Right. I can't advise it enough. If your body's telling you, man, I need a break,
Right.
take the break. If your mind or your emotions or your spirit
Yeah.
is telling you like, take a break, take a break.
Right.
Take a break. So I like at 46, I can still go out there and have fun and do this because I did
Right.
take those. Right.
Absolutely.
A lot of my friends aren't here to do that. So.
Too many.
Yeah.
Are gone. Way too many that are gone. How about Don Vega?
Don Vega, pun. It was always good to me, man. I remember.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Another guy.
What was there was like it was like I don't know if it was like and I hope I'm not saying this in an offense. It was the Puerto Rican festival.
Yeah.
Somewhere, and I remember he booked me down there, and it was like. I thought I was gonna get murdered, you know what I mean? So he's like, yeah, we're gonna stick this like shaved head tattooed guy up against like all the, and it was very fun. I've always had a blast to work with him, and his father was bless his soul,
Yeah.
was such an awesome presence and such a a warm, welcoming dude.
Right.
That I'll remember whenever I think of him. I think whenever someone mentions. Pun, I always think of his father as well.
Right.
So,
Absolutely. I know all about his dad. I'd never met him, but I
it was-
know the legend of his dad, and it's large.
He was great.
It's large.
To watch, to watch a father watch his son doing
Right.
something that he loves and bringing him so much joy.
Yeah.
How could you not want to be a part of that? And it was
Right.
like really cool to see.
Absolutely. How about that kid, Jason Rumble?
Yeah, I know. Well, here's the thing: you could do that voice, and it could mean Trooper Gilmore,
yeah.
Jason
I
Rumble,
know.
or Bo Douglas.
Yeah.
Rumble and I, we had a lot of really, really good matches, and we had a lot of real stinkers too.
Yeah.
Over the years. So here I have this like lump on my hand that I like always have.
Yeah.
From like we did like a top rope belly to belly.
Yeah. Was that an NWA New England show?
I don't remember. I think it might have been for Sheldon.
Oh, yeah.
At this point, but no, the first time, Jay and I, when
was
they were running the WrestlePlex in Woonsocket,
Okay.
was such a great time. Yeah. That was such a great time. They did the NWA Super X Open. I think it was in 2002. It was like Reckless Youth, Tony Kazina,
Wow.
like Rumble,
I had no
myself,
idea of this.
Scoot Andrews, Kahagas, like all these guys in this awesome
Yeah.
tournament. I got to work with like Reckless. It was like really, really cool, man.
Right.
Being like brand new and just being able to listen and like that it was such a cool time and like Rumble and Bo gave that to me.
Nice.
You know what I mean? Like I'll have that memory because of those guys. So like,
Yeah.
I'll always think fondly of that. But
Jay did well with the NWA Junior Heavyweight title.
yeah,
He
yeah,
did very well.
Yeah.
With that, I mean, he's a 3-time champ.
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken.
That when I think of that, I think I can't think of Rumble and not think of Bo.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. He's
another
right
guy.
on. He's right on the list.
Well, let's go right.
Knock him off.
We're gonna
Bo
go right
Douglas.
there, right?
Yeah.
He was invited to my wedding.
Yeah.
He didn't show up,
There you go.
but he was invited to my wedding. You know what I mean? That's
yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
He's a guy I love, and people can say whatever they want. The proof is in the pudding, man. He's a great trainer.
There he is.
Look at Alec.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. How about Larry Huntley? You know Larry?
Larry's a character. I've known Larry for a really long time. Yeah, Larry's a character, and he runs some great when he runs Gino's in Portland.
Yep.
That is a place that is built for me. Like
Right.
those shows are tailored for me.
Right.
First time I came out there, I looked at the bartender. I was like, "Do you mind?" She's like, "No." I just came out across the bar, walking across the bar, arms up. It was like that's it. That's all you had to do in that crowd. It was great. I've never gone up and worked the fair. I hear some people have a blast up there. I've heard some horror stories. So like, I can't really.
Right. All right. How about I don't bring his name up enough. Buddy Romano.
Yeah, man, it's a name I haven't thought of in a really long time. Yeah.
All right. All right. How about someone that's doing pretty well on TV? Carmelo Hayes,
man.
Christian Casanova.
You know, it's funny because if you would ask a couple of years ago, someone asked like, who do you think was like ready? You know, and it was like Anthony Green and Christian. You could put them on TV anywhere right now and they'll succeed. And look at them, right?
Yeah.
You know, I was only once or twice got to work with him. I know it was like a multi-man ladder match I worked and stuff.
Right.
But when I moved to Portland and when I had come back, I left and he's the Michael Jackson gimmick or whatever that he put everything into.
Oh yeah. He killed it.
Came back and he was different. You know what I mean? He was like, you know, and now look at him. He's a grown ass man, like, you know, collecting an awesome paycheck, doing an awesome job.
I'll be honest with you. I believe he put on like 20 pounds of muscle when COVID hit.
Good for him.
You know what I mean? And he did. He got the size.
And he's, you know,
he's got the talent. You know.
There's plenty of people who are athletic and talented, right? But are you coachable? Can you listen? And that's the thing. You couldn't tell me crap. You know what I mean? I wasn't going to listen to you. You know, like, yeah, teach me how to do a headlock. Then after that, I'm not listening to you about anything, right? You know what I mean? And like, he's obviously coachable and teachable, or he wouldn't be where he is today.
Oh, absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. All right. How about, you brought him up real quick. Anthony Green.
Another one, watching, like, come in, a boy and turn into a man.
Yeah,
it's so cool to watch.
A lot of people describe him like
that's
that.
it.
Yeah,
you know, I watched him as a little, as a kid coming in, you know, and turning into a man. Yeah. And like with the stuff he's doing in Japan, right? It's awesome.
Oh, it's awesome.
It's the greatest name for a stable ever. Good-looking guys.
Yep,
that's fantastic. It's so easy too, right?
It is. It's so easy. Stay in shape, and he's always going to be in shape.
Who doesn't want a shirt that says "good-looking guys"? You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's good for him. Good for him. He does it. You know. You know, if you work hard enough, you have, you know, talent, you remain coachable, you work hard, you have the right opportunities, and those things fall in place for those guys. And good for them, man. Right. I have never once like shamed anybody because they made it. Like that's a disgusting attitude to have. Good for them. I want to go in the store and see your action figure and be like, dude, I know this guy. This is awesome. You know, I want that. Yeah, it's awesome.
I don't know about you, but I was surprised when they let him go. Like, you know what I mean? I know what happens. But if you had noticed when they signed him, he was on TV immediately. And then he was on that show, 205 Live every week.
Yeah.
Man, like, boom, it was done.
You know, I don't know if I'm like in the fate or whatever, but like things happen for a reason. And who knows what that is, right? It could be just like they didn't have anything. Who knows? Or like, you know what?
Oh, he's not doing too shabby now. Like you said, he's doing great over there.
He will succeed anywhere he goes.
Yes, absolutely. How about to shift a little bit to Robbie the Giant?
He kicked me in like the tailbone so hard that I might have peed a little once. Right? It was an NCW show, and that's But other than that, always a pleasure. Yeah, always a pleasure. Great to be around.
Well, but I think he just got married.
Oh, good for him.
So congratulations on your marriage.
Condolences.
How about a guy you might have just wrestled recently too, Diego Alvarez?
This is how someone explained him to me. They said he's like a young Alec. You know how Alec was when Alec first started.
Maybe I can see I can see some similarities for sure.
Someone had said that. I think he's he's putting on weight, he's putting on size, he's dedicated himself to wrestling. It's awesome. I had a great time with him. You know, it's like he's another guy who was like super respectful, super nice. Whoever like had their hands on him, molding him, did a good job.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a testament to whoever's behind him.
Absolutely. Another new guy, real quick, the politician.
You know. Yeah. I firmly believe that he has a place.
Yep.
Right. And he's running with what he's doing.
Yeah.
Super nice guy. You know, green as the grass.
Yep.
But he's willing. He shows up places. He asks questions.
Yep.
You know. Good kid.
All right. How about Big Bear Matooch?
Yeah. I've known him a really long time. I don't have anything, you know, either way about him.
Yep. Just good dude.
Yeah, he's all right.
Yep. All right. How about Tim Lennox?
Oh yeah. he's, yeah. I could talk an hour about like just messing with him, you know, like
Yeah?
you know, and these aren't like my proudest moments, you know, but there was like
It's all
Tim
right.
Lennox, Dan Terry, that.
Janet, Timmy Thunder.
Well, even before Timmy and Alec, you know.
Oh,
like,
okay.
with Tim Lennox and Dan, like they, you know, we used to hang out all the time, go to different shows together all the time and stuff. And I just like, I really crapped on those two guys a lot.
Yeah.
Like I really just razzed them like to the point where like it was all. I think it was too much. But Tim's super funny. You know, I grew a mustache once and wore a wig, and it was Jim Lennox, his twin brother, that just got out of prison, so that was pretty funny. You know, he was a blast, man. I awkward, man. Weird dude in real. Both of them, really weird.
Right.
Really weird guys. Yeah. Pleasure to be around, but strange.
Yeah. All right. How about what was it? Dollar D?
I don't know who that is.
All right. Not a problem. How about David Cash?
Yeah, I mean, just
Little?
one of those guys. Like I've just kind of known him peripherally.
Yeah.
You know, like hey, how are you? Shake hands, hug. I've just always been around there. You know, but like I don't know on a super personal level, or I don't even know if we've ever. I don't think we've ever worked.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Right.
Being so many shows together. Yeah, so I can't.
Right. And I mean, you cross eras, really.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You really do. How about Mark Moman? Do you remember Mark?
Yeah, I saw him not too long ago up in Maine.
Yeah.
Up at Let's Wrestle. I saw him.
Yeah.
He was up there. Yeah. He was sweaty and blown up. So that was yeah.
Was he work for them now? Like, is he, part
I
of
think
that?
he was doing like a manager gimmick or something.
Oh, yeah?
He came out with Luke there.
Yep.
But yeah, I saw him up there. He's
He's good, dude.
Yeah, hadn't seen him in a while.
I'd hear from a man, "What I'm cooking for a girl," and I'd be like, "No problem, dude. Do that, do this,
There you
do
go.
that, man. I'll always give you good advice, man. I know how to cook, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm gonna take advantage of it. How about Rip Bison?
Rip effing Bison, man. Good.
Yeah,
I'm
Another guy.
dude, good for him. You know, he took that he had that gimmick, the tomahawk gimmick,
Yeah.
did it fully, was
Yeah.
committed, and then was like, I want to do something else.
Yeah.
You know, and his style changed everything.
Yeah.
And look how much it's paid off. He's in Japan right now.
Yep.
Like, and that guy, that's his dream. That's like
Yeah.
all he wants to do.
Right.
So like, how can you not like be psyched for someone when they get to do that?
Yeah.
Right.
And you can do that. I mean, there's a guy named Quiet Storm. I don't know if you know who he is. He was back in early Ring of Honor days.
I worked for PWF with him. He with the Spanish announce team. He used to come up. Yeah. Yep. We did a 3-way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
It's wild, man. How long, like, you go back to all that stuff, man.
Yeah.
Was Carino in there too?
No. No.
Or was it right after Carino you got there?
No, because he had he had PWF.
Yeah.
And then we were PWF Northeast.
Yes.
And then there was PWF Mid
With
South.
Kyle.
With Kyle, yeah.
Yeah.
And there was PWF Mid South as well.
Right.
So there was the 3. I know that PWF now, I think out of Pennsylvania is still running because I saw
There you go.
Colby at that wrestling showcase for.
Okay, so he's
for
running
PSN.
it? Colby?
Yeah, Colby's running. I believe so. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
on that.
no, but yeah, I would
But
imagine.
yeah, those
you
bunch of
know what
guys
I
had the
mean?
gear on, and it brought me right back. I was like,
Yeah,
wow, that's cool.
yeah.
You know, so
That's good. He found his love for wrestling again.
good.
You know what I mean? Which is fantastic. How about you were just at the Proving Ground show. Unsung guys that don't get a lot of press. Guys like Mike Montero.
Yeah, I've always had great matches with him.
Yeah.
I've always had really quality matches with him.
Right.
Yeah. Dude loves wrestling.
Yep. How about live wrestling's Teddy Goods?
Pleasure. What a pleasure. I don't know how that guy's not on television somewhere.
Right. Exactly.
Right? Got great look, great attitude, super fun.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird, huh?
Yeah.
It's crazy how it works. You know what I mean? It's like you like can see, but you can see something in him and in this guy and that guy and be like, and then you see a guy get it and that he bombs and you go, but you should have put him.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. You can name all these names and I can sit here and rip any one of those guys apart and crap on them.
Right,
Or find
right.
something good in every single one of them.
Right.
Right? And that's the thing about wrestling. It's like, what do you like?
Yeah.
Well, I don't like this or I don't like that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's open for everybody to like, I like this, but I don't like this part. Or,
Yep,
you know,
yep.
this, or
I think you met this kid when he was young. Kid Reflex.
yeah.
Eric
Yeah.
Dillon.
Yeah. That's another name I haven't heard in a long
good dude.
time.
I'm trying to set something up for him to come up here again. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah, we had a couple, I think when there was, it's PWF again.
Yeah.
We worked several years ago
Right.
now, but we had no, nothing bad to say about him.
Nice. Nice. How about the guy that's gained some traction, BRG?
He's really coming into his own.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, right? And I'll just say it straight out. I didn't have any personal connection, really know him at all. We were on shows a couple of years together here, there. Let's Wrestle. And I didn't want to stay wicked late at a show. I was up 4 or 5 hours away in Maine, and I was like, hey, if you're driving back, can I jump in with you today?
Right.
And that was one of them. In the past 5 years, that's probably been the best car ride I've had.
Nice.
Just him and I talking about life and loss and love and wrestling.
Yeah.
And talking about all this other stuff.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
And he can go.
Yeah.
You know, I have nothing but, you know, and he took that Let's Wrestle championship and defended it all these other places to help that company out.
Yeah.
You know, and helps himself, but like
Yeah.
he
And he's branching out too.
Yep. Yeah,
He's doing fantastic. Do you got anything you want to plug? Any show, anything? Yeah.
I don't know,
Facebook,
man.
Social media. Where can you get booked?
Instagram, I don't know.
Yeah?
Like, I mean, like, is it that,
Just
you know,
your name?
Yeah,
On Instagram?
Yeah, you can, the Masshole Mike McCarthy, you can find
Yeah.
it on there. That's about it. I just wanted to say thanks for having me. I truly, truly appreciate it.
Bro, no problem, man. Thank you for coming on, and
Thanks,
I'll do
man.
it anytime. We can
Awesome,
just
man.
play the name game.
That's
You,
my
like I
favorite.
said, you go from one era here to, like,
Yep.
you know what I mean? Like with Ali Muhammad and all that.
Yeah, I could have talked about those guys forever, man.
Yeah. So thank you for coming on.
appreciate it.
Guys, and that's it. We're out. Peace. Hi, guys. I hope you're enjoying the show. Listen, I could use a little help to grow my YouTube channel. So if you could please like, share, and subscribe. That's most importantly, subscribe. Send me a direct message, and I'll give you a shout out here on the show. My YouTube channel is real simple. It's just my name, Leo Connors. Thanks in advance. Peace.